Hello, I'm Ethan, and this is my analysis on employee attrition. A little background for those who don't know, because I didn't before going into this project. Attrition refers to employees leaving the company, whether voluntary or involuntary. The purpose of this dashboard that you see here is to help a CEO better understand why attrition is occurring, where it is most severe, and potential patterns that we can take action on. So starting at the top, over here we got overall attrition. We currently have 1,470 employees, and our company-wide attrition rate is 16.1%. This number is the baseline that we will use to compare other findings against when we do our filtering. Down below that, we have our overtime combined with work-life balance. So work-life balance is rated from 1 to 4. These 4 values here, 1 being bad, 2 being good, 3 being better, and 4 being best. Employees are categorized as either working overtime, yes, or not, no. We can clearly see that employees work overtime with a lower work-life balance ratings, especially in the bad and good section. We have a higher attrition rate, and that is shown with the darker shading. So right here, if you do a little hover over these, it kind of highlights the cell for you, depending on the work-life balance that's in, so you can get a little deeper look. And then this indicates that the work overload and poor balance are strong contributors to turnover. So moving down, we have our attrition rate by department. Now, this is so we can see attrition rate by department, where sales has the highest attrition rate, followed by human resources, with research and development being lower. As you can see here, these totem poles, if you hover over these, you can filter by departments. So if I hover over sales, you can see how this changes our attrition in job satisfaction and in our tenure graph, as well as our work-life balance for overtime. And we can go human resources and research and development. Out of all these departments, though, the highest is 15% with sales, which is 1% lower than our total, which is 16%. Human resources 11, and research and development is 9. So employees tend to stick around, but human resources is only 17 employees. However, if you do see this right here, not 295 employees with a 9.5 attrition rate. So research and development is clearly doing something right, while sales is constantly losing employees, even though they are close to half of the employees of our research and development department. So something is definitely dropping, or raising our number, I should say, in that sales department. Maybe it's just a hard job to keep or find any actual good sales employees. Especially if you look at sales, we can see that they tend to drop off. Looking over at this graph here, they tend to drop off early in their career in the company, rather than in research. The number is lower, and we have a couple higher ones. So moving on to our attrition rate by tenure. Attrition rate by job satisfaction. This is where we can see employee rates, how they rate their job satisfaction from 1 to 4, where 1 is low, 2 is medium, 3 is high, and 4 is very high. And that lets us see who rates their satisfactions and who has an attrition rate of like 22.8. So as you can tell, if I hate my job, why do I want to be here for 36 years? I'm going to just leave and find somewhere better that I actually feel satisfied in. Even though attrition rate being 4, for a lot of them, you can go ahead and click select that, and it should filter. Yeah, there we go. We can see those that are very satisfied. They tend to stick around a little bit more. This one's more scattered. And our number 1, you don't really have any high outliers. They're all kind of in the front of the group. Next, we can go ahead and look at the whole tenure graph in general, employees tend to leave early on in their career in the company. As you can see, like 0 is 50%, so like they dropped within 6 months. It was too hard to be a salesman, because the sales department really gets high. What's our filtering messed up on? There we go, sales. And then we have a couple high ones. So years to the company, 40. These could be like CEOs leaving, maybe, or just retirement. I don't know if retirement actually counts towards attrition, but these are where I'm seeing as a person that doesn't really pay attention to these kind of values. Like 32 years, attrition rate 50. That I feels that means like two people have been at the company for 32 years. One person left, one person didn't. So that might, mess up the numbers there. But we're gonna have a lot of people in these values down here, and not many people will probably make it to this amount of years at the company. That's why we have so few little out here. So I'm guessing there's like 3 people that have been here for 18 years. So it seems like there's a couple long employees that have been here and a lot of short ones that keep coming and going. So next, that was our overview of all genders. Let's go ahead and move on to like female and male. So I'll start with female. We have 588 employees. That's compared to our, I'll just click on this, 1,470. So about roughly, I would say 40% of our employees are female. And our attrition rate is 14.8. So it's about 2% lower than the general whole. And as we can see, our work-life balance of best is actually our darkest shaded area with an attrition rate of 100%. So there might be low numbers here. It would be good to see why a work life is good and overtime is yes. So, but pretty low numbers for those that don't have overtime. They seem to like their job when they're not slaving away. Filtering by department, human resources. Oh, that might have been messed up before. Actually, this changed because we're on females, and it seems females do not like to stay in their human resource job at this company, which is bringing a number of 16.7, which is greater than our total overall attrition rate. Sales wise is 11, and our research department is 7, with still 103 employees, which is pretty good, I would say. Overall, we still have 3 outliers here. Those years to the company, 32, 33, and 40. So we have some strong females in leadership, I am hoping, being that long in a company. Selecting the filter by job satisfaction. Let's go ahead and do 4, because this right here, that shows that. What if I do 1? Okay, so lots of dark shading up there in that work-life balance. 2 and 3. Next, we're going to move on to male. I'm going to try to reset this a little bit. Okay. Males, 50% for human resources. They don't like to stick around as much. So of 8 employees, out of 8 employees, 4 of them left, 4 of them stayed. Maybe human resources was too boring for them. I sure know I would fall asleep if I was in human resources. Sales, we have 52 employees with 30%. So maybe they're just there for a quick buck and then leaving when they can. Research, 110 employees, just kind of like the females, with 22%, which I believe is higher than the female. I look, 15%. So males tend to leave a lot more in research and development. Overall, looking at our graph over here on the right, our attrition rate by tenure, we don't see that many outliers for staying in the company. We actually see a lot of people leaving right away and in the middle of their career. This might show correlation towards men just trying to find a better paying job or something like that. I don't really know how this works between genders. I just thought it would be a good filter. So this is my dashboard. Inclusion, this dashboard helps us identify multiple drivers of attrition, workload overload, and poor work-life balance, departmental cultures, especially in sales and HR, low job satisfactions, and early tenure departures. By targeting interventions in these areas, we can look to work on significantly reducing attrition and strengthening retention over long term of the employees' careers in the company. Again, this is Ethan, and thank you for listening to my analysis.